Welcome to episode 0.1 of our monthly, maybe bi-weekly podcast. We are Shoot the Moon. I'll introduce you guys around the table here. We got Phil Smith. Say hi, Phil.
Come on. Hi. All right. I'm Phil.
I got Lance Tryon across the table.
Hello.
And my name's Sean Woodhouse. People call me Woody, and that's probably what you'll hear me referred to for the next little bit by these two fellas. This episode here, we just want to do a little bit of a backstory about the band, about kind of each individual member, how we kind of got to this point. And they said I gotta start. Is that right?
Because you're the lead guitar player.
Oh, great. I thought I was the auxiliary guitar player.
Right.
So okay, if I gotta go first.
So we're Shoot the Moon Band.
I said that.
All right.
So I don't want to go back too far.
No.
Okay, when I was 16 and playing with Mark Webster in the warehouse.
In my previous life.
No, we definitely don't want to go back that far. No, it'll take a while.
But it's nice to touch on some of the players that we played with. So yeah, you played with a lot of people that I haven't played with.
Oh, big time, yeah. So, well, when I first ran in, a little bit before I first played in a band with Phil, with Johnny when I was playing bass. I go back before that. I started playing bass with Steve Parks, and Dave Hewitt was on drums.
Right.
And Glenn Robertson was on guitar, and that's when I first ran into Glenn. And I was playing bass. And Parksy just wanted a band for a gig, and so we went and played this gig. And that's when I first went out and got a bass, right? Because I would just want to play.
You just want to be a guitar player.
Well, no, and the fact too, doing like all the 4-track demos back in the day on the cassette, like I needed a bass, right? So I could play bass, so I played bass with Parksy there, and that's when I ran into Glenn, and that went on to form the whole Rock Dogs thing. Then after that fell apart, that's when John Harrison, I think, called me up. Because
right.
he was still out at Furnace. What, 90...
91?
Johnny was out at Furnace until when, though?
Oh, God, I couldn't tell you. That's a far back, man.
So it was then, because you were playing with Phil and John, and
Yeah.
Hewitt was with Johnny Flamingo in the Living Room Experience, and then Phil came in after Dave, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So then you guys played for a while around, and then you left, and then Johnny had some gigs and knew that I could somewhat play bass. And then that's the first time I played with Phil. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to say who we played with and who we haven't played with, because we've all played with everybody at different times, right?
Yeah.
Especially with like Flamingo, sure it was me, John, and Dave to start, and then there was Phil, and then Woody came in. I think he might have jammed with us once or twice when I was still playing in the band.
Right, yeah.
Out in
Washago.
That's right. So we all kind of
we got video of that.
Yeah.
we all kind of touched on playing with each other before we actually played like now, right? Because when it was just the Flamingo band, then it was Phil, and then Woody stepped in for a little bit, and then I stepped out, you stepped in.
Yeah.
Then
on bass.
But who played on bass when you did the show out at was it the Rogers Center or
Skydome? Steve Henry.
Steve Henry.
Who we've all played with as well.
But did Steve play with you?
And who hasn't?
Did Steve play with you for a bit when I didn't play?
He did that summer.
Did he?
Yeah, we did the Fridays at the zoo, and then Saturdays
Right.
on the road.
Because I remember coming down to the zoo sometimes, and
Yeah.
Stevie would be there, and I
Yeah.
would come up and I would play like one song or two,
Yeah,
and sing a song, and
that's right.
then Stevie left, and then I think that's when you
Right.
jumped
yeah.
in just
Yeah,
after
'cause
that.
I
You only
was-
played for a little bit.
I was in for the one summer.
Okay, but the summer after, the very last gig we were supposed to have, our friend didn't show up, and Steve had to get
Steve.
Stevie Henry
Yeah.
had to get Divine to step in the one night
Oh,
for
Dave.
the last
Yeah.
Friday at the zoo
Uh-huh.
that summer. I didn't see Harrison again for several years.
Right after that show? Really? Okay.
And then after that, right? After that, I don't know when Dave Hewitt got married, but that's when I saw Phil again for like since I played with in Johnny Flamingo and the Living Room
Right.
Experience. Saw Phil at Dave Hewitt's wedding, and I said, "Hey Phil, you doing anything?" He's like, "Nope, I'm not doing anything." He's like, I'm trying to get a band going, and that's when we,
Yeah, it was a good band too.
it was Zig Meiser,
Zig Meiser,
So
With-
that was you and Woody.
Mark Sine,
Sean.
Sean Sanders, who's the bass player for Dr. Crane,
Yeah.
Right.
and Natalie. What was her last
Whatever
name?
her last name was. I don't know.
Yeah, Shelley would know. She works at the hospital, I think.
Mm.
And she could sing. She
Yeah.
could. She could really
They
sing.
did some great songs.
Yeah.
See,
so-
because you guys kept, like when I stopped playing with John and Phil, you guys kept playing guitar, playing bands
Yeah,
and everything.
I have not ever been in a band for more than a month since I was like 16.
Yeah, see, but when I quit, I stopped playing for like 12 years. I didn't
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
tough.
play. But then I got hooked up again. I ran into Dave, and I would see him every now and then. I think I went over to his place.
Dave who?
Mr. Dave Hewitt.
Okay.
Mr. Dave Hewitt. But I went to his place, and we were just kind of talking and gotten all nostalgic, talking about bands and everything, kind of reconnecting. And then we said, okay, well, let's find out about doing that Flamingo reunion show.
Oh right, yeah.
So me and Dave, we go down to the bar and unconsciously kind of booked this show. And then like we had I think it was like 3 months to put it together.
Don't look
Excuse
at
me.
No, like yeah, you weren't in it.
Stinky.
But that's when I first
that
started to
one's
play
stinky.
again. So I didn't do anything until that show. So yeah. But it was neat to hear these stories how you hooked up and played in other bands and
Well, that's interesting too,
Oh, yeah.
because the last band I played before taking the 5 or 6 year hiatus was the Natalie band, Zig Meiser with Woody. That was the last one. We bought the farm. I didn't touch a pair of sticks for 6 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And then who did I see in the parking lot one day in Walmart? I think.
I
Didn't
think
you?
it was.
Lance
That's right. That's
saying,
right.
"Hey, want to come play in a band?" I said, "Oh, sure."
And what band was that?
That was
Previously named.
that was the
Band.
Flamingo
That
band.
was a thing with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but we
And you-
were. You're way jumping forward now. Like
Yep. No, I still have my history to go through too.
no. But like still. But like I think we're talking more of a collective here now about how this all got together. And,
Right.
But before this, we were with like us and John Harrison were Johnny Flamingo and Living Room Experience
Right.
for what?
Oh,
2
God.
years, 3 years?
3, anyways.
3 years at least.
Right,
But
yeah.
then I played with him for longer. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like I played with him for a long time.
Sure, yeah. But that incarnation
Right.
that I was the auxiliary guitar player under John, which John never usually played with another guitar player.
No.
No.
It was kind of cool
So-
that,
so that would be
we
about
had
3
that
years,
going, yeah, for about 3 years.
3 years,
and then
yeah.
after that kind of fell apart, and well, I didn't have time because I was playing in Girl Jam. I started playing with them at the same time. Well,
Right.
near the end of the 3rd year, I started playing with Girl Jam, and then they started getting serious, and so I started practicing with them more and not concentrating on Johnny Flamingo and the Living Room Experience, and then I kind of said, okay, I can't do both, and I kind of resigned from the living room experience.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then, shortly after, Lance resigned.
From the living room
that-
experience.
yeah.
And then it was you and Johnny
That was at Wizards when I did
recording.
Yeah?
that. Was at Wizards. We were doing some show out there, and we had a dressing room. I told you guys in between sets.
Mm.
I said, "This is it. I'm done." But I'm trying to think now.
Yeah, but in that meantime, like you were still like after that, there wasn't much of a gap when we prepped for a Christmas jam with Sean Farr singing, right? We prepped for that, and that's when we all kind of got back together
As a group.
like this with Sean Farr as a vocalist, and then and then eventually it ended up with us three just starting
right.
to
We had that.
to write music and record and.
Who was that other guy that came out to play guitar with us? Just to mention a name. What
Oh,
was his
your
name?
buddy, yeah.
Oh,
That was in the very beginning
That
too.
was in the beginning too, right?
Ray. Yeah,
Ray, that's right.
Ray came out, yeah,
So
yeah.
he came out,
that's right.
and Sean Farr.
Yeah, Ray was more. It's my own personal opinion. More, let's do rock and roll cover tunes like every other rock and roll cover tune
Yeah,
band
and very-
does, and we weren't kind of.
Very well covered cover tunes.
Yes, yeah, and I'm not into playing a half an hour Rolling Stones songs.
Or, yeah.
No offense to the Rolling Stones, of course, but
I think we played enough Rolling Stones.
yeah,
And we've
it's
all
just-
played, yeah, exactly. We've all played enough bands and I've played enough cover tunes. Like you mentioned a couple. Myself was with Tool Shed.
right.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
Mm.
and then Mr. VK and the Narrows.
Right, yeah.
So, but yeah, the cover tunes I always did with Tool Shed, they were fun songs. Like they were good guitar songs, and we had a big band, and it was fun. But I just couldn't. I just can't do cover songs all the time.
No, and that stop slapping your thighs there, Phil.
I'm a drummer. What are you
You're making a bad click here on the mic.
Chicka chicka chicka.
What were we talking about just a second ago there?
Cover tunes.
Cover songs.
Yes, right, yeah. And when Ray came in, we kind of already had been working on
Yeah.
some original
Some original
songs
stuff.
that I
That's
brought
right.
to you guys, and you kind of liked them, that they were cool, and
Yep.
and we were kind of in agreement at that point in time. Well, maybe we should try to get a second guitar player because a lot of tunes that I write in my mind, there's two
Sure.
guitar parts going on, and as a three-piece, it's hard that I gotta do one and two guitar parts at the same time. And can't be done, right? Right,
No.
Phil?
What, are you not Geddy Lee? Is that your problem?
That is correct. I am not.
Nor am I. Forget that.
Very few people
Forget that.
are.
So that's not really my whole backstory. That's a Cole's Note version of more or less how I evolved
Evolution
within
of Woody. Yeah.
Phil and Lance, and
That's right.
and yeah, it's a small town too.
Mm-hmm.
Like on episode 0, which we had to save for the archives.
That's right.
I was talking about back in high school. Like when I was in high school, you guys were older than I was. Not
That's right.
you were what, Phil? You were a grade up, and
Yeah.
Lance, you were a grade up, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, but in high school, if you're a grade up, and you don't pay
Yeah,
attention
it's
to
a big
the
step.
other ones below you. But I remember Phil, like I played in the school band. I played trumpet.
Oh, that's
I remember Phil and Traplin back in the back. They were the percussion players, and
Getting drunk all the time.
I was the lonely old trumpet player. Me and Hewitt and Debbie Godwin.
Notorious.
Don't even know that name.
The notorious
No.
Adidas bag that our friend Traplin had all the time.
My
Yeah, the
bag.
Adidas bag.
Oh, Adidas bag. Oh, we all did.
It's all full of
Oh, the red and white
yeah, we
Adidas.
all did, yeah.
We go into the vending machine and get a Five Alive. To make it, put the fucking Five Alive.
Oh, we got plenty of stories.
Oh yeah.
Kiwanis festivals and such.
But
Yeah, so that's when I knew you guys. and
Right.
Started to know you guys. You guys didn't really know me much, but yeah, I was
Okay.
aware of.
So Phil, give us yours.
Mine? Well, out of high school, I was living in Toronto, and somehow I met up with these three brothers who were all musicians and such, and they found a bass player, and we played a few gigs down there. That was my first real experience playing, live, and in Toronto too. It was kind of good.
Were they big venues? Like, were they big, like, bars, or like, were
Yeah,
they...
some bars, and then the talent shows you do when you're young and stuff
Right,
like
okay.
that. So yeah, we played in front of decent crowds, nothing great. And then, but I moved back to the whole band moved up to Barrie. Just played there, played Keswick. We had the bus, we had all the gear.
Like,
and it was
when you
fun.
say moved, you guys lived together? Did
Yeah, we all lived in a big house
Good.
in Barrie. Yeah, it was a fun time for sure. Finally, the bands I decided I didn't want to play with the band anymore.
What was the name of the band?
The Difference.
Oh, The Difference.
That's right. Yeah, actually, a couple of those guys were pretty good musicians too, and we did a lot of playing. I decided I didn't want to play anymore. I think Brett Kerrigan took over in my spot.
Yeah, because I used to play in a couple
That's
bands
right.
with Brett. Yes.
Yeah, and he did Honeymoon Suite
Yeah,
for a bit
he
too.
was a
right?
drummer for Honeymoon Suite for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He might still be doing it. I don't know. And so I went for a bike ride up to Algonquin Park and back. As soon as I landed back at my father's place, I was staying at the time on Barrie Road.
Right.
Harrison shows up and asked if I want to play in a band.
Just shows up.
Yeah, it was weird. I was off my bike for maybe half an hour, and he shows up. And I said, okay. So I think that was second tour duty with him, because I had done high school with him.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was tour 2. And then I got going with Ken Brandon there for a while too. That was fun. That was a good show.
Dogs.
That was right after. Okay, so that was after tour 2 with.
So you were in the Dogs of War band?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Right after when the period when John didn't show up after that gig.
Right.
I was
Right,
looking to play somewhere, and Hewitt, Mr. Dave, recommended me to Ken
Oh, really?
to play the band. So,
Lucky you.
and you know what? Yeah, no, yes and no. It was a good experience.
Always good experiences, right?
Yeah. And then I did Tour Duty 3
With Johnny.
with John, and then luckily you guys split off, and then asked me to play with you guys. So I'm pretty honored.
Right.
It's cool.
Is that the sump up going?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Oh, wow.
I thought I
nice,
was
eh?
whizzing myself. Good.
Oh, there it goes.
yeah, it's off now.
Well, that's cool. Like, I vaguely remember hearing... Whether I seen you play in The Difference, I'm not sure, but I do remember hearing that you had all the gear and you were in a band in Toronto. I do remember hearing that.
Yeah.
too.
I was the bus driver.
Oh, were you the bus driver? No, was it a big school bus?
It was a 72 passenger school bus.
Get it.
It was huge.
Did you have all the seats out of it?
Yep.
It was
All but 3 or 4, right? To sit in.
Did you have it tripped out a bit inside
No.
or nothing?
No, we couldn't afford that.
Couldn't do that?
No, it's not Brett Michaels.
Yeah, I know. No, we're just all
What's that
sitting.
new show of his?
We're just sitting in it like a bunch of
Okay,
putzes.
let me pimp your RV. Or,
Pimp your RV.
Pimp your RV.
Pimp
Brett
your
Michaels.
school bus.
Your school bus.
That's what we need. We need the short bus, though. You can see we wrote
Oh, that's
the
what I
short
want to do. I want to be in the short bus.
bus. Yeah, we can all have the helmets on.
And mouth guards.
There's a band full right there. Right in the short. So yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I didn't hear the difference, but that's a neat story, man. All right, so
That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's all you got? Well, that's good enough for now, Phil.
That's good enough for now. But yeah, that's the backstory.
Took you long enough to get here.
You mean like tonight?
No.
Because I have to have dinner. Right.
Just
All right, well, I guess
It's
I'll
kid.
go. All right, well, for me, it started when I started at, when I was at Carstone Resort. And then when Harrison showed up and started working there, we kind of hung out in the same cabin. There would be Dave Hewitt and Harrison and a bunch of other Fern friends just hang around, and no one would play bass because there wasn't a bass. I didn't play bass then. Then Steve Hustle showed up, and he had this man-made amp with his profile bass and just sat in the corner. So every time we get to have a party together, you know, I'll be like down on boy staff and whatnot. I finally picked up the bass and just kind of started playing along. And John would teach me how to play it. So from day one, my teacher for guitar has been John.
Yeah, John taught me on bass
Right.
so much.
Oh yeah.
And playing with John too.
Oh.
As a guitar player, I learned so much from John.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's
Yeah.
a really
So
good
like
player.
I say, when I started with him and Dave, did a Battle of the Bands. Then I can't remember how long we were together, but then Dave decided to leave, and then that's when Phil came into the picture. Did the shows of a bell and whatnot. But then at a point in time, that's when I quit. Just after that, and then we just went through the stories of how we all got
Right,
together
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
After that, it was just with that reunion. Then right at that reunion, I got off the stage, and there's Mariano and Lee Miller saying,
Right.
"Hey Lance, would you mind sitting in? We have the show. We don't have a bass player." Yeah, no problem. I guess I can.
Mm.
Well, like 4 years later, I was the bass player.
Still
in
the bass
band.
player.
I was still the bass player. Right? So I ended up playing with those guys, and then Davey decided to play with Dave Hewitt. Dave Hewitt decided to play with Van Castle, and they needed a bass
Right.
player. So I went to Dave's place and started playing with him for a bit, and that's when Doug Meredith and
Right,
Matt,
yeah.
Matt and Jason Beers and Marty Austin.
And that's when I was, at that point in time, I was in Girl Jam.
You were in the Girl Jam,
Pretty seriously. Yeah.
but then I kept on. Did I keep on calling you or kind of bugging you? We should play. We should get Phil. And then we finally just said, okay, let's kind of get it.
Right, yeah.
a day together,
Because
and
I was
So
super busy.
you were so busy, but I kept on
yeah.
poking at him. And then we did get together, and then here we
We
are.
started
Here
playing
we are,
originals,
right?
I think, when we first got together. It's
Yeah.
like, check this out, check this out.
Yeah, we were trying some with
Yeah.
with Sean, yes,
That's right.
and stuff.
Oh, with
what
Sean,
what
yeah.
turned special? What turned into? No, what was it that turned? The Sugar Bowl is empty. It turned
Right,
into
yes,
Friends.
it turned into Friends,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
That's
doing
right.
that one early.
yeah.
So that's kind of more my story with playing with different individuals. But then there's always other people who've been kind of popped in the picture, like playing with Ronnie and Douglas at
Yeah.
whether it was Tantrums or what was it called after that. There's Tantrums, and then I can't remember that bar. Anyhow,
Horrible with bar names.
playing with them, and then but Ronnie would kind of sit in
Just
the
a
back
blur,
and
Phil.
play these wicked blues licks. Right? He wouldn't sing then.
Yeah.
But he was an awesome guitar player. He is an awesome guitar player.
And
Now
Phil,
he's-
you don't remember when, because I told you the story before, and you said that you didn't remember when Ronnie was young. He was
so shy.
he was really young, and we practiced out at your dad's shop.
Right.
Out on,
Yeah.
what is it, out in the 13th or
Yeah.
something like that?
So, yeah, the town line.
And Ronnie came out, didn't say a peep, but he just dialed in
Right.
a sound. It was like, whoa, man, turn that up a little bit. Like,
That's
you
right.
sound good. Turn
That's
that
right.
up.
That's a
"Oh,
nice-
I don't know. And
Oh,
he
yeah, it's a
played
nice
down
voice.
at what is Studebaker's now, down
Yeah.
by the lake there, for a jazz fest. He came up, and you were the drummer, and I played bass. And
I
Ronnie
was the
came
drummer?
up, and yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You played live?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was you. Or was it Hewitt? I can't remember.
Don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure it was you, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With John?
with John.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
And well, we practiced at your dad's place, so it had to be
I
with
guess,
Ronnie.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Ronnie came up and played a couple tunes at Jazz Fest, and yeah, I think that was one of the first times he'd ever been, on a
Stage.
like at an event
Oh.
like that, right? Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it's neat because I was just thinking back, like, when you, like Phil, myself, and John got back together, like, we didn't hesitate. We kind of knew what we wanted to do. Like,
There's a lot
We
of tunes
played the
could
songs.
play.
We just like bang. We just okay.
And a
we,
lot
we
of
haven't played
songs-
these in like how long together as a band. We just kind of will sit down and say, okay,
Yeah.
let's play Mary or Mosquito.
And all the songs
Also,
I knew
it's
from
just there.
playing that John taught me on the bass, right?
Right.
Like I knew those songs.
Yeah, yeah. But then with Phil, we were playing McCabe's and Benefits like right from the get go. We didn't. It wasn't really a
Yeah,
sit down and learn. It was just okay.
yeah.
Let's go play. Right, which is fun when you finally can do that. Like we could cut.
Yeah,
get
but we
together
could do a 45-minute set with 5 songs, though, man.
Yeah.
John would take a solo, I'd take a solo. John would take a solo, second verse.
Yeah, that's right.
We jammed a ton.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Jammed a lot.
And
So, yeah, so we're looking at, again, playing with Harris, playing with Ron Hill, playing with, Steve Parks,
Yeah.
all those guys that kind of sit in Steve Henry, there's so many, there's so much talent in the city of Aurelia. It's just unfortunate there's no place to play. Right? Even the younger kids that are out there now, you see some of the names that
Yeah.
are playing down the Brownstone. Like Slow Motion Walter, they played up a great show down there.
Yeah.
And Tyler Knight and Aaron Mangoff Turtle.
And that's why these bands like Adrenaline Chrome and stuff play at the laser tag place, because there's no
Yeah.
There's no venue.
right, and at least at the laser tag place they can get the younger
That's right.
crowd, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A little
But-
bigger event. Like, is the
It's-
venue bigger? So
I
than the
haven't
Brownstone.
been in there
Mm.
since I can't tell you for how long, so I don't know how they actually set it up. I never went into an all ages event in there. I figure I'm a little too old for that.
Right.
They might look at me like, who's this old guy?
Well, okay, so Phil, Woody started off touching on himself about his history, and then you did yours. I've done mine. You kind
Yeah.
of call this as episode 0.1
.1 at
Um,
Cold Room Recording.
Cold
Plants.
recordings.
Not cold.
Cold storage.
Cold storage.
Yeah.
You've been,
Got some dead bodies in there.
you've been watching too much Storage Wars, man.
EP will be coming out shortly.
We're working on
Stay
it.
tuned.
Yes.
Got some great
On
stuff for you.
episode 1, we'll be talking about more or less
Right.
up and coming. But of course, we're always gonna hash back
Of course.
to some point in time. That's just what happens, right?
Well, we're getting old. We like to
and-
be nostalgic.
To conclude,
And I forget what I talked about.
to conclude every
forgot what I told you already.
If you hear me repeat myself, just going
and to conclude every podcast, we should do a good
Fart.
band story, like
band
a
story.
gig story or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll put that out there now.
So not for this one.
There's
but the
no
next one
pressure to
was-
do one now, but
Right.
at the end of every one, we'll do a good
I
gig
gotta-
story,
I gotta-
horror story, great story,
All rated G, though.
funny. Well,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah, that's cool. I could think of a few, I'm sure. But yeah, and then also we might have special upcoming news. Between now.
Special guests, hey.
And special
Why
guests.
not have
No.
Dave Hewitt
Sure.
in
why
studio
not?
for an
That's right.
episode for a
Hey, do
podcast?
it, or get Psych over here and
Yeah,
just have
Sit
a little
down.
chat and
sit down a few guys.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Get
You
Steve
know.
Henry over here.
You can actually do some interviewing some bands, like get the whole band of Slow Motion Walter over here, and we can have our own little improv session.
Well,
with,
that might get messy though, man.
Or girl
That
jam.
might
Yeah,
get
just keep-
really messy.
So you know what I'm
keep the
saying?
beer
Like,
away from 'em.
we could be the hosts of a monthly show with special guests Slow Motion Walter.
Man, you could be the next Mike Stern. What's that guy's name?
Howard.
Howie.
Howie.
Howie Stern.
Oh, Phil climbs out under his rock.
I do. That's right. And you can follow us at our website, www.shootthemoonband.com.
Yes, get all that. Okay, go, Phil.
I don't know
Twitter,
anything else.
what-
That's it. We
come
can
on.
follow us on Twitter
Shoe the moon.
at shootthemoonband.com. Our Facebook is getting
Facebook
updated.
will be updated, and of course you can also find us on Reverb Nation.
ReverbNation.com/shootthemoonband.com. No, just Shoot the Moon Band.
That's right. That's right.
No .com.
So,
Okay, well, that should be good
all right, you can go home now, Phil.
for this week. Yeah.
Good.
Well,
My
go
wife's
home and
calling anyway, so I gotta go.
Milk the goats.
Milk the goats. I don't milk the goats. I kick them in the ass.
But they're so cute, man.
Especially when you kick them in the ass.
Do what? Yes.
Well, I don't do what you do in their ass.
Oh. I'm gonna edit that part out.
No, you're not just being mean.
Fine. Good night.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Episode 0.1. Shoot the moon.
I got freedom when